What's going on, V8 fans? I'm back again doing another episode for you, and we are recapping the WatPac Townsville 400, and it was a very good weekend this weekend. To be fair, don't get me wrong, the racing was great, but it did turn on a good show. The second race wasn't really all that interesting at all, but we will get to all that in just a moment. But I will say, just before we start, we lost a dear friend. I think it was yesterday or even Saturday. Alan Brown, who sadly passed away over the weekend. Our condolences here at V8 Supercars go out to the family of Alan Brown and friends as well. So we're all thinking of you, and yeah, that's pretty much all I want to say about that before I get too emotional about it. But guys, yeah, it was a very interesting race this weekend. There was no safety cars again, and it was just all pretty clean racing. It was really good. We've seen a couple of drivers that we didn't expect in there this week. One being my man Aaron Russell, my fellow Novocastrian up here in Newcastle. He got to drive the number 3 Lucas Dumbrell car, and did a really good job. You know, it was after his rough exit with Erebus Motorsport, and then obviously getting the drive with Lucas Dumbrell last year, and getting the chance now to drive not only the Townsville race, but he'll drive Bathurst and Newcastle as well. So big congratulations to Azza. Yeah, it's really good news to know that that he's gonna get a drive, and especially for me, because I know him on a personal level as well as him as a race car driver. But he's worked his absolute arse off in these last couple of seasons, and for him to get an endurance drive for Bathurst is something really special for him, and for a lot of his fans as well. So big congratulations to Aaron as well. But we'll start off with race 13, guys. It was a very good race. Again, there was no safety cars, but we'll just get straight into it. We had Fabian and Whincup just blitzed straight away. It was absolutely insane. It was really good. And David Reynolds as well. It wasn't in the first race, it was in the second race, but he absolutely just took the ball and went with it this weekend. Even though he's a little bit down in the championship points, I will guarantee he's going to come strong in these last few rounds towards the back end of the season. Not so much the enduros. I know that I'm being skeptical here about it, but the enduros, I think that's his weak spot. Especially Gold Coast. He doesn't really have a good track record there, but these little sprint rounds like Ipswich is in a couple of weeks, which would be good for him. I wouldn't be surprised if he actually wins there that weekend, but we'll see what happens there. The first couple of corners, we had Bright make contact. Well, Fab span in it's turn 2, sorry, and Bright connected him as well, and Slade had a little bit of damage, so he had to go into the pit straight away, and that kind of set Fabian's mood for the whole weekend. With that incident, he didn't really go too well after that. He was lapped, I think, in the first and in both races. Yeah, he was lapped twice. So, not twice, but he was lapped once in both races. So, bit of sad news there, because that's put him out of contention for now. It's dropped him down to, I think, 3rd in the championships. Scotty Mack is obviously up at 1st after winning both races this weekend, and now Jamie Whincup has also bounced back as well, which is fantastic for all you Red Bull fans as well. Scotty Mack back into P1, obviously. Him and Jamie were exchanging really well during the race, and it was a fantastic battle. Don't get me wrong, and in both races, actually, that battle between Jamie and Scott in both races was just epic. And I'll get to race 2 in just a moment, because not much really happened. But Slade rejoined after he came out of the pits and sort of rejoined with the leaders. So they were all fighting over you know, who would overtake him and whatever else. But Slade just got out of the way and let them all go, whatever. With that first lap incident where Fab span and Brighton and all that other good stuff, Lee Holsworth got a little bit of damage to the door, and he got a mechanical black flag for his driver's side door. Just keep popping open. It kept popping open, and it was just sad news for him. So he was out of contention, and after his qualifying sessions, you know, averaging for him, you know, between the 10 and 20s kind of thing. He seems to be lapping there. He seems to be qualifying there a lot lately, and you know, the teams, you know, they're still young, obviously, but yeah, they need to find that consistency, because, like, look at what was the one a couple of rounds ago, Perth and Hidden Valley too. Like, they went really well, and yeah, it's kind of sad to see Lee go from such a high in a couple of weeks to what he did then, which was sad enough, because you know, everyone knows that I'm a Lee Holsworth guy, and when I heard that he got a mechanical black flag, I just, yeah. So the first round of pit stops happened between laps 19 and 20. Obviously the leaders came in first, and just everyone else came in after. Percat had a right front, sorry, no, not even right, it was the left side. He had a left side tyre failure after making contact with the wall. Now, I'm not sure what turn it is. I'm pretty sure it's the exit of turn 12 or 13, one of them, I don't know. But he sort of just understeered a lot, and then when the car finally kicked in, it was too late, and he just whacked it in the wall, and then that sent his tyre gone skis. It was quite sad, actually, to see poor old Nick Percat in the wall again. Not the first time I've said that this year, but and it probably won't be the last, because Percat, you know, he's young as well, and with Brad Jones Racing, he's got to find that consistency as well, because Brad Jones Racing is obviously, you know, not one of the front runner teams, but they're in the mid pack, but they're always there to surprise people. And, you know, Tim Slade, he surprises a lot of people, especially at the Gold Coast and Ipswich itself. But Percat has just had the worst year you could possibly ever think of. You know, from going in such a high from 2012, winning Bathurst with Garth Town, I'm pretty sure it was 2012, might be wrong there. But from going from that to, you know, not even completing races, like, you know, Melbourne Grand Prix, there's been a couple of others where he hasn't finished at all, and it's sad to see, though, but you know, it's racing, I guess, and you just got to move on from it. Obviously, rebuild. I'd love to see I'd love to see the Brad Jones Racing bill at the end of the year on all the damage. That'd be quite interesting. But Todd Kelly also had a right front tyre failure, not after connecting the wall or anything. He just, yeah, it might have just been a lock-up, and a couple of laps later it's just deflated and whatever else. But sadly enough, you know, again, that happens as well. Mostert, now I was very upset about what this was all about. So Mostert and Winterbottom were racing hard with each other. Obviously they're teammates. But the stupid idea to bring in both of them at the same time is just ridiculous to me. Like, I hate the fact that teams and drivers have to double stack behind people. Now, in saying that, Mostert had really good pace behind Winterbottom. It was just a shame he couldn't get past him. Now, he had, I think it was a couple of laps fresher tyres than what he did, because I'm pretty sure he put freshers. Pretty sure he put greens on, and Winterbottom used tyres from, you know, the Friday and whatever else. So they've brought in Winterbottom and also brought in Mostert. Now Mostert was in the top 5 contenders spot, and he got screwed out of that because of the double stack. And Winterbottom obviously pitted. he went off, and then Mostert obviously goes through. Because what? At Townsville, you're looking at probably 15 seconds before you, or depending on where you are in the pit lane, say your PRA for an instant. You're about 15 seconds from the start of the 40 zone to where you got to pit. And then it's an extra, 25 or 30 odd seconds. You're getting fuel and tyres or whatever else. I might be wrong there, but I'm just hypothetically guessing. And then it's another, 10 or so seconds until the end of the thing. Where Mostert would have had to wait that extra 25 odd seconds for Winterbottom to finish his pit stop and then take off and then go. The double stack is just absolutely insanity. What they need to do in V8s, I know they're not going to listen to this, but still, it's just an idea. Make the pit lane longer. Now, I know that might be easier said than done, but make them longer, because then you won't have this double stacking issue. Like with Mostert yesterday, the teams show up to the racetracks with 30 odd blokes, probably even more sometimes, depending on where you are. And, I know that the pit lanes aren't that big. I understand that. But when you're in a situation like Mostert was yesterday, you've got enough guys back there to make, double pit lanes, I guess, And the whole idea of the double stack is just annoying. Like, look at Bathurst, for instance, okay? I was there last year, and I was walking down, and Red Bull obviously were right up the front, or right at the pit exit. Now this is what was funny with this. Back in like 2002, whoever won the team's championship at that year, or the year before, sorry, would start at the starting part of the pit lane. And like HRT, for instance, HRT were massive back in 2001, and then in 2002's Bathurst, they were obviously at the start of the thing, and all the low end teams were all the way at the back. Now it's the opposite way around. So Red Bull is obviously up front. Then you've got your PRA, your Dick Johnson, your fucking who else is there? You guys know what I'm talking about. Yeah, you know what I'm talking about. And then it just goes on and on and on. And then Erebus is right down the bottom with Lucas Dumbrell Racing. Where back in the day, it was the other way around. So, when you look at the Bathurst garages, there's got all these things here, blah, 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 blah. And then when you get right to the end, there's like 3 or 4 odd garages that are just nothing. There's just nothing in it, right? Now, with, who is it? I think it's Nissan Motorsport. At Bathurst, they take up 4 garages. 4 garages for one team. Now, I understand that they've got 4 cars. I understand that, but there's the thing where you can have more garages open to limit the amount of double stacking, if you guys know what I'm talking about. Yeah, and it's just, I hate the idea of double stacking, because like when you see like Jamie back in, when Craig Lowndes was driving with Red Bull, obviously, you'd see that Jamie would come into the pits and Craig would follow, and Craig always had to double stack behind Jamie. You never seen Jamie double stacking behind Lowndesy, and fans hated that. I'm sorry to all the Jamie Whincup fans out there, but it is true that the reason why people hate Jamie so much is because of one of those reasons. Is because of Lowndes had to double stack behind Jamie all the time. And it was frustrating because Lowndes is obviously a fan favourite. We all know that. Where Jamie sort of isn't. He's just there to win races and whatever else. But it's the idea of double stacking that I just don't like. I absolutely hate it. But I'm not going to rant on about double stacking for this whole video. Let's just continue on what's going on. With 9 laps to go, so that was pretty much, whatever else, but with 9 laps to go, SVG got a radio call in saying, pretty much bring it home, because with 9 laps left, I don't think he had that much fuel left, so he had to conserve a little bit, and sort of made him not be part of the battle pack, which was Scotty, Whincup and Winterbottom, which was the order for 1, 2, 3 as well. So Scotty took out race 13, and it was very, very, very good. It was a good race and whatever else. And mind you, with the double stacking as well, if Mostert didn't double stack behind Winterbottom, Mostert would have easily got on the podium. But here's the podium results for race 13. You obviously had McLaughlin, Whincup, and Winterbottom. That was your top three. Then you had Mostert, Waters, Lowndes, Shane Van Gisbergen. Now, again, if he didn't have to conserve fuel, he probably would have been up there. And I was surprised, actually, just reading that. I only just found out that Lowndes got in the top 10. And that is something we haven't really heard much of this year. But I'll continue. Tander 8th, Reynolds 9th. Now, he is obviously my driver of the whole week. He just was unbelievable. Moffat got top 10. Now, Coulthard, number 11. He got 11th. So, with that spin and whatever else, that put him out of contention. And sadly enough, he, Lee Holsworth got 12th. Scott Pye, 13th. Caruso, Wood, Blanchard, Rick Kelly, 17, Simona Di Silvestro, 18, Will Davison, 19, Tim Slade, 20, Rulo, 21, Aaron Russell, big congratulations to him at 22, Jason Bright, 23, Percat, 24, Courtney, 25, and Todd Kelly obviously did not finish. But another thing as well with who was it? James Courtney. James Courtney, I'm sad enough to say this. James, from where he was last year to now, it's just, sadly enough, guys, it's just not working for him. And I hate to see James so upset about things, and it's frustrating. He always apologises to the fans because, they expect more out of that car. And I know that they've got potential. And just sadly enough, they're just, ever since that big move from HRT to what they are now, it's completely different. Obviously, they don't have the same packages as last year and whatever else, but, Another thing that we've seen this weekend was the top 10 shootout. Now, I absolutely love the top 10 shootout. If you guys follow me on Instagram, or if you've seen the Instagram, I'm actually going to leave, I've just thought of this right now, I'm actually going to leave not only my Instagram, but V8's with Shane's Instagram as well. It has its own Instagram now, guys, so go and hit it up. It has no capitals. It's V8S_with_Shane. So go and hit that up now if you want. Doesn't matter if you do. I think there's like 11 or 12 posts already, and I've got, a substantial amount of followers, but we're pretty much just all friends at the moment. But go and hit that up, guys. If you want to see all the race results, they will be there. They're not on my personal Instagram anymore. They're on that Instagram and that Instagram only. So go and hit that up now. And yeah, again, we had the top 10 shootout. And like I said, I absolutely love the top 10 shootout. And the concept of the top 10 shootout is just amazing. Like, especially at Bathurst Week, the top 10 shootout sometimes is more exciting, if not more exciting, than the actual race, because you see your favourite driver, well, if they've made it into the top 10, sorry, that is like blaring on my face, like if your favourite driver obviously gets into the top 10, you go for them and them only. That's it, and obviously during the races you go for them and whatever else, but in the race you sort of get a little bit banter, like what I do. Like, I go for Scott McLaughlin when Lee's going shit. I'm not going to say all the time, but, it's just something that happens. And, you go for everybody that you like, and you dislike everyone that you hate. So, the top 10 for me was actually really good. I was going for David Reynolds the whole time, and he put together a really, really good lap. Now, I have the results here. Now, obviously, these aren't in order of how they qualified or whatever, but I'll go from 10 to 1. And also give you the times as well. So, Jason Bright, sadly enough for him, he qualified really, really, really well. He qualified awesome, but sadly enough, heading into the last corner, he had that little spin there. If you guys didn't see it, go and check it out. But, yeah, Jason Bright, he pushed it really well. He actually had the quickest first sector to the shootout than what anyone else did. And then David Reynolds came in and just screwed that all up. But Jason Bright got a 1:28.996. Now, after that spin, it obviously just set him out for 10. So he was in 10th position the whole time. Then Garth Tander with a 1:12.684. So he wasn't too bad either. Neither was Cam Waters at 1:12.665. Then we had Rick Kelly, who sat on first position for a long time, actually. I think it took about 3 or 4 cars until someone knocked him off. And he got a 1:12.639, which was really, really good. Mostert came out. Now, Mostert's lap, oh my god. Again, guys, if you haven't seen it, go and check it out on the highlights of the Top 10 Shootout with V8 Supercars app, or the website, obviously. But his shootout lap, oh my god, it was amazing. Like, it's something that you'd see Scott McLaughlin do, but it was just crazier than that. But he got 6th, starting on the 6th grid, starting 6th on the grid, Jesus Christ. And he got a 1:12.451, which wasn't too bad for him either. Obviously, there was a little bit of slight mistakes there, but it was just exciting to see. Winterbottom then got a 1:12.429. Wingcup came out and got a 1:12.334. And Reynolds actually had the quickest first sector anybody did during the session. He had a 21:44.23 heading into the first sector, which was the quickest throughout the shootout. But sadly enough, he only got 3rd and got a 1:12.279. So that was an awesome lap from him. And then Gizzy got a 1:12.258. And then massive congratulations to Scott McLaughlin. First time ever we've seen a 1:11 at Townsville. He got a 1:11.990 something. So Scott and Gizzy started from first row. Reynolds and Wingcup obviously started from the second row. Now I am going to get into the recap. So second day in a row, we had a clean start. It was perfect. Reynolds from 3rd place pounced. He absolutely bolted to the front of the line and was heading into the second corner. Him and Scotty Mack were sort of battling it out, and then he sort of just let Scotty through, and away he went. The worst starter, and I don't like saying this, but the worst starter was Lee Holsworth. Starting 15th on the grid, and within the first lap he was down to 22nd. So he lost 13 positions or something like that. That's, no, not even that. 13 positions, fuck's sake. That's a lot. I don't know. I can't do maths. Obviously. Tim Slade, last corner, spins with Fabian Coulthard. Now, Fabs in race 14, he was not good. And this sort of takes me back to when I was watching Talladega Nights a couple of nights ago, and Ricky Bobby's crew chief said that, "Hey Ricky, you're driving like a pissed off teenager." Now, if you guys obviously haven't seen the movie, you don't know what I'm talking about, but that's a quote from the movie. And when you look at what and how Fabs was driving within the first so laps, that's exactly what he looked like. He looked like a pissed off teenager just trying to get to the front. And sadly enough, it just didn't work out for him, obviously. And he got a 15-second time penalty towards... no, he didn't get it for the end of the race. When he came into pit, he did his 15 seconds there. Reynolds dropping position after position after position, and then he pitted at lap 13. I think he went from... Well, he went from obviously first to... God, where was he on it? He just kept dropping positions, and then by the time you knew it, he was out of the top 10, and it was like, what the hell happened? So what they need to do with Davy's car for next round is obviously get the balance right, because that just, you know, his awesome qualifying session in, yeah, his awesome top 10 shootout lap to the non-consistent race pace that he had in race 14 was just terrible, and it sucked to see Reynolds go from such a high to blah, 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 down there somewhere. Jamie gets in front of Scotty Mack. Now these two battled the whole race, and weirdly enough, guys, that was pretty much the only thing we got to see all weekend, was just Scott and Wingcup battling. That's all it was. And I'll be completely honest with you. Race 14, and I'm going to be truly honest with you guys. Race 14 was probably the most boring race I've seen all year. It was terrible. Apart from the little tiny 4-car mishap going into that little sweeper part and then into the chicane and whatever else with Dale Wood, Rick Kelly and a few others. That was probably one of the most exciting things that happened the whole race. That was it. And then obviously Jamie and Scott pit. Each of them did their pit stops, and then Jamie had the undercut and got in front of Scotty Mac, and that was pretty much it. And there was really nothing, and I'll even show you. If you can, no, you can't. Yeah, you can. I don't know if it's backwards or not, but nothing exciting has really happened between lap 20 to lap 70, and it was really, that is pretty much all I did throughout race 14. That was it. I didn't have to write much at all. Towards the end, you had Aaron holding up Whincup and Bright holding up Scotty Mac, and then heading into the last lap, they both got past them, and then that was it. That was pretty much it. And big congratulations though to Jamie Whincup, who got his first race win of 2017. Big congratulations to him and Red Bull Racing as well, because Van Gisbergen got third and Scotty Mac obviously got second. But guys, that is the whole recap. Yeah, that's pretty much it really. The Super Utes got revealed to the world on the weekend, and they're running the Mitsubishi Triton, Ford Ranger, Mazda BT50, and what was the other one? I think it was the Toyota Hilux. No Holden Colorado. So for all you Holden fans out there who like to see the Utes Holden v Ford in the ECB, I think that's what it's called now, the ECB friggin' V8 Utes thing or whatever else, there will be no Holden Colorado. So all the diehard Holden fans that want to see their Colorado out there will be none. So don't get excited for that. But yet again, it's going to be a category that I'm actually going to look forward to. You know, bigger cars. It's like the Stadium Super Trucks. Obviously, they won't be going up on 2 wheels and whatever else. But it kind of is exciting for the sport. Obviously, they're doing changes as well. Speaking of changes, this video will get uploaded, followed by another video about a couple of changes that are going to be coming next year to the channel. So please stick around for that. It will happen as soon as this one gets uploaded. And guys, that is your recap for Townsville. Hope you really enjoyed it. Ipswich is on in 2 weeks. And spoiler alert, I'm actually going to the race. So you're going to see more than just me standing in front of a camera. You're going to see the cars go past. You might even get a couple of interviews with the drivers. We don't know yet. But all is exciting, and I can't wait to get up to Ipswich. And again, as well, I'm going to Bathurst with a couple of friends of mine. And I'm not too sure on what I'm going to actually do with that, because we are camping up there for 10 days. And what I might do is do little videos here and there for you guys, so you can, like, at the campsite obviously, so you guys can see obviously what it's like. If you haven't camped up there before, you'll obviously see what it is like to camp up there. But guys, that is all for the recap. I hope you really enjoyed it. Please hit that like button, comment on anything you want to talk about or whatever. Subscribe if you're new, and also hit that icon to let you know when the videos get uploaded, so you guys get a notification straight away of when they will get uploaded, especially for the next video with all the changes coming in 2018. But guys, that is the Townsville recap. Hope you've enjoyed it. Hope you're enjoying your weekend. It was a really good weekend. I really enjoyed it, and I shall see you all in 2 weeks after the Ipswich